James will mostly be talking about these 3 books while he eats some Mexican street corn salad with some goldfish, cheddar things, and tomatoes. This is a mixture of, oh, and the smoothie. This is a mixture of really sweet cherry tomatoes that I'm very thankful we have. And some on the top part, that's grape, a mixture of different grape tomatoes. And you can see in the background, well, I'll go stand by it so you can see it. My God, no. Anyway, here is cosmos flower blooming. There's some cosmos and a few buds. So they're finally out, and I don't know if you can see over this way, but there's quite a few calendula flowers that are finally blooming. And so far I think there's just the yellow calendula flowers. I don't know why. So I didn't get very many tomatoes from my peepal bell row today. I don't know why. That's okay. But I got a lot of Tiny Tims. So I didn't bring them over, but I got almost a pound of Tiny Tims off of just my few tomato plants. So that's amazing. And I'll get you to try this smoothie so you can rate it.
Oh, there's a straw.
Yeah.
I was wondering where one was. As the Germans say, a little sharp.
Not sweet enough for James.
It's a little sharp. Where is the sharpness?
That's pink grapefruit. It's pink grapefruit.
The grapefruit comes through. No, you put cherries in there, and that's
I did.
going to be a little bit
They'll
bitter.
be sour too.
How about what
different.
sort of sweetening agent?
What did I put in there? Cantaloupe.
How much?
Quite a bit, but obviously not enough.
Grapefruit's really strong.
Yeah. And some almond milk. That's all that is today.
So it's
So
just
this one is
tastes
not
sharp.
one that he likes.
I like it plenty fine.
Okay.
If it were warm, it wouldn't be so good. It's kind of a warm day here,
Yeah.
and this is cool, right? So,
Okay.
so
All
I
right.
like grapefruit. You know, it's a bit of a surprise. That's
Okay.
the taste.
So did you want me to open this Mexican street corn later?
I think later because
You'll just sip on that while you're...
yeah, I don't want to
reviewing
get
the
my
books?
hands
Okay.
dirty.
I'm going to go harvest. You might see me in the background harvesting stuff back there, but I'm mostly going to be... You're wondering why I'm so messy. Well, I don't want to get different clothes messy again, and I'm going to go do the tunnel crawl. So I'll
Holy
be back
smokes, that's going
crawling
to be a
through the
real
tunnel.
adventure.
Yeah,
It's like crawl through the jungle, not run through the jungle.
Yeah,
the way the
it's-
CCR saying.
it's
back in
very exciting
1970.
back there. So I'm going to go do that, and crawling through the tunnel will probably take me about a half an hour. And
Hopefully
so
she
you have fun.
returns. You know what I'm
I
saying?
will.
And
I'm taking the
looks
scissors
like
this time.
back-breaking work. Anyway. So finishing up, looking at Worthy Fights by Leon Panetta. And he's was in the American government. I think he's head of CIA under Obama for a while. And was he Secretary of Defense? Also under Bill Clinton for at least part of the time. He was Clinton's all-round factotum or something like that. I've forgotten what it is, like advisor. Just kind of like the person who, I forget the official term. There's an official term. Assistant or whatever. So that's above and beyond her. What Monica Lewinsky was offering in terms of assistance. But she was only an intern or something. White House intern. Not a medical intern. Anyway. the what I want to deal with is how Panetta talks many times, and at least he's thankful first generation Americans. I guess he counts his dad's generation. His dad was an immigrant from Italy. I'm not sure exactly where it was. I don't think it was Sicily, but two Italians who came over. Even in the late 19th century, they started coming from Sicily and doing all that activity. It got worse and worse and worse. And I don't know if it's stopped getting worse. The big trouble is there's been mob activity coming from Latin American countries, mob activity coming from East Asia, mob activity coming from South Asia. Again, it's kind of depressing. You get folks like Leon Panetta. Looks as though he wants something like an open immigration system. You cannot have totally open immigration system because you let in people like the Sicilians. You let in the mob. You let in Nazis. You let in fascists. You let in commies. You can't have that. You let in what people call fundamentalists. Muslims. People don't understand. Fundamentalist Islam is mainstream Islam. They want to hide that, not just from you, but from themselves. They refuse to recognize the truth. So what we're going to deal with on Panetta is looks to be, might still be alive. This thing was published in 2014, I believe. Let's see, I finished it up quite a while back, maybe half a month back. Let's see how good my memory is. Finished the 2nd of August. Almost 3 weeks, pretty well 3 weeks past. But let me see, 2014 is what 2014 is. Anyway, he might still be alive. I hope so. Pretty good guy, okay guy. But what is it? There's a picture of him meeting some flunky. I believe it's in Rome. Maybe you can imagine. Yeah, so he's dealing with about, opposite about, so that's it. I am a Catholic. Okay, good. I carry a rosary. Okay, I attend Mass every Sunday. Well, he's pretty religious about it. And say my Hail Marys when the occasion arises. I don't know what the occasion is. It was thus a special honor when on January 16, 2013, on a trip to Italy, so presumably Rome, as I was saying, I had the opportunity to meet the Pope. And Pope means father, ain't my father. Ain't the world's father. It's a little thing that he and his predecessors, a little title that they gave themselves. Papa, Pope. He thanked me for my work in keeping the world safe for Catholicism. Big trouble is, Catholicism doesn't keep the world. When we look at it over the long run, I think this must be Benedict who is. Benedict, I think, means blessed, something like that. I'm not translated in English. Bene means good. Dic means, well, dicere means to say, or something like that in Latin. But, yeah, if you look at it in the long run, it's been a real long run since about 300 AD, a little bit after. Under Constantine the so-called Great, they took over the Catholic Church, not the Christian Church, and turned it into the Catholic Church. And they really developed they developed a creed, like there was the Nicene Creed. I think that was set up maybe in the wake of a little to-do they had in Nicaea. I think that's a place in present-day Turkey. newsflash, the Turks aren't native to Turkey, not even native to the western part, the southwestern part of Asia. They're native to Siberia. They wake up and smell the coffee. That's where they're native to. At any rate, that's a different issue, different religion, different ethnicity. Anyway, long and strong tradition the Catholic Church has had of persecuting heresiarchs and other, according to their view of the world, nasty people. And here's one guy who liked searching out heresies. So he was a contemporary of Henry VIII of England. He didn't live to survive Henry VIII. Why is that? Well, Henry VIII had him whacked. I believe he had his head whacked off. Anyway, he had him killed. And it's because they have him styled here as Saint Thomas More. Much of a saint. I don't care if he died for his religious beliefs. He died supporting a institution that had a long and strong record of whacking innocent people he styled as heretics. Some people call him Sir Thomas More. I don't call him Sir. I don't call anyone Sir, at least unless I'm being ironic or something like that, or just reporting what some people style so-called sirs. In here, so this is prefaced by Joseph W. Katersky, the poet for S.J. What does S.J. stand for? Society of Jesus, I believe it is. So this guy Katersky is a Jesuit, or was. I don't know if he's still alive. Well, like when it comes to a crummy institution like the Catholic Church, the Jesuits are about as bad as they get, maybe the worst. And yeah, so this is basically Catholic propaganda. I don't know how to style it any more accurately. Catholic propaganda. And I'm just realizing I haven't quite finished it up. That's why I left my bookmark in here, one of these flat carpenter's pencils. Yeah, it's just oversight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages left to go. So I don't think I put in here that I finished it up. No. At any rate, I'm going to review it because in those short 5 pages, they're going to make up for 250 pages of, say it's quite garbage or stuff like that, but it's pretty bad. And these are Thomas More's, I'm leaving the Sir, I'm leaving the Saint off, selected writings. Actually, there are other things in here, like the life of, it says Sir Thomas More, written by, I believe, a relative of, is it a dude called Roper? Maybe, or maybe it was by a son. I'll just check and see the life of whomever. Yeah, by William Roper. I believe William Roper was his son-in-law. Thomas More's son. So that's a substantial part of the document. And it's not just laudatory, it's exculpatory, I'm afraid. And then there's a substantial, kind of like preface. It's maybe too long. I can take reading what the life of the guy. Chronology of, it says St. Thomas More. Where's this St. Thomas More? And it's quite lengthy and quite useful. So it's about how many pages? LXVI, that's 66, isn't it? Something like that. XXI, so it's over 30 pages, chronology. Quite good, quite useful. It has its faults, but I didn't notice anything like that. I don't know. Not an expert on that section of English history or European history, world history, however you want to style it. Anyway, they speak and they're lamenting the fact that he was, according to Henry VIII, heretic, died for his beliefs. But in here, they're talking about how Thomas More kept on looking for heresies. Like, sure. I don't know what he was saying. I don't know if he said much about what should be done about these heresies. Specifically, what should be done about people who espoused or expounded on these heresies. Hi, how's it going?
Good, am I interrupting?
Oh, just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be podcast on the internet, but maybe 2 or 3 people will watch, so you don't have to worry. Take care, eh? Yeah, that was a very nice person. Maybe a true Canadian. True Canadians have some things. Sorry, all those nice things. Some people, I think, Americans, possibly got a little bit off-putting, but please don't be off-put. Thank you. I'm sorry for off-putting. No. I'm used to be very typical. Experience more about 50% of Americans, a good percentage of Canadians actually, who, particularly here in Alberta, want to join up. They want to become independent and then independently join the United States. Yeah, I have become increasingly less and less like a typical or stereotypical Canadian. I'm not interested in saying please and thank you to folks like that. Trump supporters, Pierre Poilievre supporters, little Stevie Harper supporters, on and on it goes. Preston Manning supporters, Ernest C. Manning supporters, so on and so forth. Donald Trump supporters, naked as a Newt Gingrich supporters, on and on it goes. We've had our share of, even Doug Ford supporters, pretty rebarbative. Anyway, so this guy was what I call a hypocrite, and the people who put this out, complaining about so-called Saint Thomas More getting whacked by Henry VIII, complaining about dude getting whacked. Like he was supporting a church who, at that very point in time, was in the process of getting their jollies whacking people they styled as heretics and misstyled, frankly. The Catholic Church had lost the message about Christianity. The message is one of peace and love, particularly love. Going around whacking people that they disagreed with. Henry VIII was he had blood on his hands, quite a bit. Here's the thing. Here's a little quote from the Bible. It's almost verbatim, perhaps, from the King James Version, dating from maybe 16 or something, we'll say 1611 AD. By their fruits ye shall know them. Was Henry VIII worse than the Catholic Church? No. By their fruits ye shall know them. He, maybe more than he and his daughter, Elizabeth Tudor, Henry Tudor, they set the course for England being the world power for a long, long while. And actually, no, you flunky left-wingers who, hove towards the Karl Marx, Friedrich Engels, Michel Foucault kind of things, and Nut Bar City, all that sort of stuff. We get ready to, I had to put up with a lot of noise, like when I was working nights and stuff like that, shift and so on and so forth. I had to put in earplugs in and earmuffs over. So you might want to do that if you don't want to turn off and stuff like that. You just want to watch me flap my gums and stuff like that. Because England actually was, all things taken into consideration, force for good since the time of Henry VIII. They did a lot of nasty things, but generally they were doing those nasty things to even nastier people. I shouldn't have to repeat it, but I'm going to. England, since the time of Henry VIII, was generally a force, and a strong force, for good. And so by their fruits ye shall know. He was supporting a horrible institution. There are, of course, worse institutions in the Catholic Church over the long course of history. La longue durée, or whatever it is in French. But this guy's not a saint. He's a sinner. Okay? So here's Leon Panetta, practicing Catholic. Pope Benedict, by comparison, was almost any pope that's preceded him was enlightened, so on and so forth. But that's a relative term. I don't know if he got rid of the doctrine of papal infallibility. That was actually a recent innovation, but check it out. Very recent. But I don't know. I mean, he should have been doing a whole raft of things like, I don't know, maybe reparations for all the scientists that they didn't just whack, but threatened. Galileo survived the Roman Inquisition. Is that what they call it? Italian Inquisition? I think they call it the Roman Inquisition. There was a Spanish Inquisition. People talk about that, but there was one that was affecting Galileo. Who knows what sort of discovery was he put under house arrest or something like that? Hopefully they gave him something like a lab or whatever. That wouldn't have been a concern for him. Poor Copernicus, he didn't publish his stuff until, I gather, it was that he had friends do it, kind of like the day he died, or the year he died. I don't know when that was, 1543 or something. I remembered almost like it was yesterday. No, that's one of my standing jokes. I'm going to keep doing it, but I'm old, but not that old. I haven't been around. I've just been around in the previous century, not previous centuries. Now, I just finished this book up, and those of you who've been following Pauline's podcasts, they say, this guy reviewed it. How come he reviewed it if he hadn't finished it? Let's just see about this. I tell people when I'm kind of when I'm previewing a book, when I'm reviewing something when I'm almost finished, like this, St. Thomas More. I'm 5 pages short. 5 out of 250 is, what is that, 2% or something like that? I'm missing 2% of the book. Shame on me. But let me just see. Finished before August 2024. So when I was arranging my books, I found this. It's a second copy of this thing I've got, actually. So I was going, okay, it was around August 2024 when I was doing it. How did I know I finished it? Because I checked off the pages. And that's what I tend to do. So I refinished it, folks, just the other day, 2025, and that says, I don't have my glasses on, I believe it says 18th of August 2025, so it's in the last week. And some of this, substantial portions that I'm looking at now, I've actually got, I've read it 3 times. So once I read it once, I put a check mark for it once. Then I'll put 2 little marks going through the second time. And then when I go through a 3rd time, 3 little marks and stuff like that. So I'm just browsing through here, not browsing, riffling through the pages, and I'm noticing substantial portions of this I've read 3 times. But I've got, as I say, I've got another copy that I've read at least once. I think it's a couple of times. Very important book. David Scheim, is that his name? David E. Scheim. Interesting German name. I don't know what that last name is. About a German name, but I'm pretty sure he's American. Fact is, I think he's a graduate of MIT. So I finished this book about 5 days ago. Let's see if I remember that correctly. And it was maybe in computer science or mathematics, something like that. David E. Scheim is Director of Management Information Systems at the National Institutes of Health in Bethesda, Maryland. It's just outside of Washington, actually. It was roughly in that area where the botched, intentionally so, autopsy of JFK took place. Check it out, Bethesda. It was on Navy base, I got it. The recipient of a doctorate in mathematics. There we go, from MIT. So he's the Director of Management of Information Systems, presumably. That's having something to do with computer systems. Okay, doctorate in mathematics from MIT. So he's got a PhD. So he's not a flunky, not like your typical. It's more like stereotypical, really. JFK research nut or whatever. You know, the first guy to really do it in the United States was a guy called Mark Lane, and he was anything but a flunky. So, you know, people go around saying, oh, this is a JFK assassination nut or something like that. There would be nuts, but most of the people that are nuts that way are CIA plants. Wake up and smell the coffee. Shame is on. Shame. There we go. That would be sham in German. S-C-H-A-M. Check it out. English is a Germanic language, and sham and shame would be related to each other. Board of Advisors of the Assassination Archives and Research Center in Washington, D.C. So I'll just show you a picture of him, dated from way back when. I get the impression this was put out maybe 1990 or something, 1994 maybe. Oh, I should have gone with my first guess, 1988. I would say go with your first guess. Anyway, it dates from quite a while back. Hey, David Scheim, hope you're still alive. You're a good dude. One of the most valuable parts of this book, it's hard to slog through because it's in small print and it's reasonably lengthy. 400, it's about 70 pages long, and it's okay, it's got additional background. Well, that's actually sources on the mafia. That's appendix 2. Okay, sources on the mafia. So it's about 70 pages long. You got some. Oh, you got a lot of things.
Yep. I haven't even made it into the tunnel yet, and that's how many I have.
Yeah.
Well, and a few extras.
So it's more than one day's harvest because we were up hiking in Waterton yesterday.
Yeah.
And believe me, you don't want to be harvesting before you go up to Waterton because you want to get up there early, folks. If you're interested in Waterton, get there early because you actually heard, maybe even saw